I just need to sign.
I just need to sign, she said quietly. The billionaire smiled. It was the kind of smile he had perfected over decades, polite, controlled, confident. The smile of a man who had signed thousands of contracts and broken just as many people without ever raising his voice. He slid the file across the polished table as if this moment was already over. But when his eyes reached the last page, the smile disappeared. His fingers froze mid-air. And for the first time in years, Arif Malik felt his heartbeat in his ears. If you stay till the end of this story, you'll see how a single name can bring an empire to its knees. And if this story moves you even a little, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to Untold True Stories, because some truths deserve to be heard. Zainab sat across from him without impatience, without fear. She wore a simple gray dress, neatly pressed but clearly old. No jewelry. No handbag worth mentioning. Her hands rested calmly on her lap, though inside, her chest felt tight. She had never stepped into a place like this before: glass walls, silent air conditioning, people who spoke softly but held power like weapons. Arif Malik owned half of what the city called development. Towers, factories, land that once held villages. He was known for efficiency. For results. For never letting emotion interfere with business. This meeting, to him, was routine. "Mrs. Zainab," he said professionally, "this document finalizes the transfer. Once signed, the compensation will be released within 48 hours. Zainab nodded. "I understand." "You've reviewed everything?" he asked. "My husband did," she replied. "Before he passed." That word "passed" briefly slowed Arif, but only for a second. "I'm sorry for your loss," he said out of habit, not depth. "Thank you," she answered. Arif tapped the file. "This land will be used for a commercial project. You'll receive more money than most people see in a lifetime." Zainab didn't smile. "I didn't come for the money," she said softly. "I just want everything to be legal. Clean." Arif leaned back slightly, studying her now. That wasn't the reaction he expected. Most people in her position were nervous, grateful, eager. "Legal," he repeated. "Our lawyers are the best in the country." "I'm sure," she said. Still, "I wanted to be present." Something about her tone unsettled him. Calm. Grounded. As if she wasn't asking for permission. Arif opened the file again, skimming until his eyes landed on the original ownership details. And then his breath caught. The name. The same name he hadn't seen in over 20 years. His father's name. The land listed wasn't just any land. It was part of a massive property his father had once owned, before everything collapsed. Before debts, accusations, and a scandal that nearly destroyed their family. Arif's throat went dry. He looked up sharply. "Your husband's full name?" Zainab answered. It matched. Perfectly. Arif's mind raced backward in time. He remembered his father coming home one night, face pale, hands shaking. Creditors circling. A false accusation threatening prison. And then unexpected help. A loan. A signature. A man who trusted him when no one else would. That man had lost everything shortly after. And Arif's family had survived. "Who was your husband's father?" Arif asked slowly. Zainab hesitated, then answered. It was the same man. The one Arif's father owed his life to. The room felt smaller. The walls closer. "Where is your husband now?" Arif asked, his voice lower. Zainab swallowed. "He died 6 months ago. There was an accident at the factory where he worked. Machinery failure." Arif's chest tightened. He owned that factory. "I'm sorry," he said again, but this time the words carried weight. Silence stretched between them. Finally, Arif asked, "If your husband knew the history of this land, why did you agree to sell it?" Zainab looked down at her hands. "He didn't want conflict. He said the past doesn't need revenge. Just truth. Then why come in person? Arif pressed. She met his eyes. Because my husband believed that if someone knew the truth, they should be given the chance to do the right thing. The words hit harder than any accusation. Arif stood up slowly and walked toward the window. Below him, the city buzzed: cars, people, profit. All built on decisions like this one. For years, he had told himself survival justified everything. That his father's fall made him stronger. Smarter. Untouchable. But now, standing there, he saw it clearly. His empire wasn't clean. It was inherited debt disguised as success. He turned back. This contract will not be signed, he said firmly. Zainab's eyes widened. What do you mean? The land belongs to your family, Arif continued. It always did. The transfer will be reversed. And compensation will be paid for your husband's death, for the years lost. Zainab stood abruptly. Sir, I didn't come here to beg. I know, Arif said. That's why I'm doing this. Tears filled her eyes, but she didn't let them fall. Why now? She asked. Arif answered quietly, because some debts don't expire. They wait. Months passed. Construction began on the land, but not the project Arif had planned. Instead, a new factory was built. Safer. Transparent. Workers received contracts, insurance, fair wages. At the entrance gate, a simple sign was installed. This project exists to repay a forgotten debt. Zainab became a silent partner. She still lived simply. Still dressed the same. But now she funded schools, safety programs, and legal aid for workers' families. Arif changed too. He stopped chasing headlines. Stopped crushing small businesses. He paid old dues, financial and moral. One evening, he visited the factory unannounced. Zainab was there, overseeing training. You could have taken everything, Arif said. She smiled gently. We already had enough. We just wanted dignity. Arif nodded. For the first time in his life, he felt rich in a way money couldn't explain. And that is the lesson. Sometimes the quietest people aren't weak. They're carrying truths powerful enough to change empires. If this story stayed with you, like the video and subscribe to Untold True Stories, because the next story might remind you that the past is never really gone, it's just waiting to be acknowledged.